The Niners are looking to forget about Week 16 and take out essentially all of their frustration out on the lowly Washington Commanders here. And we're going to break down the game and what the Commanders, if they have any shot really against this team, or will the Niners even get closer to locking up home field advantage in the playoffs for the NFC Conference. But before we do that, if you've not already, hit that subscribe button. Ryan and I, we're trying to get to 2,333 subscribers by New Year's Day. We're about 75 away, I think, last I checked. So potentially we get there with your help. We absolutely can. So like, subscribe. And Ryan, let's get into this game here. So the Niners, the thing for me, the Niners, I just think the worst things just kept happening, unfortunately, for the Niners. Started out moving the ball well. Unfortunate turnover. That was just a mistake by Brock Purdy. But then if we look at it kind of for the rest of the game, it was just really, I think it was more extremely good defensive plays by the Ravens that just kept providing pressure here. Brock Purdy had a couple interceptions that were tip balls. You could have maybe made an argument on the third one where he tried to throw it back in the middle of the field, but then that got tipped up in the air. It was also, too, a really good hustle play by Kyle Hamilton after he got flattened and then laid on by the offensive lineman, got back up, got back into play, and then he was the one that got the interception, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in general, I think it was just an extremely good performance by the Ravens and not the overall best game by San Francisco. But the thing for me, honestly, is to watch is Trent Williams did not come back in the game. He had a groin injury. Aaron Banks also was hurt in that game as well. Also, then, too, the backup for Trent Williams, Jalen Moore, also got hurt as well. Eric Armstead is banged up. A lot of just key injuries as well. So that's going to be interesting to watch here because one of the main things that we've seen from Brock Purdy, and really honestly just this offense as a whole, as they just need overall time for their plays to develop, their amazing route schemes to develop, and for guys to get open. And when we saw them go on that 3-game losing streak stretch, a lot of guys got hurt. A lot of key guys got hurt, including Trent Williams. How big of an effect do you think that's going to have on this game here, but also on the Niners moving forward as well?
Well, for me, I think it will have an effect, but hopefully a groin injury, he'll miss a week or two, and then he'll be right back in the mix of things. And to close out the season, I believe they have the Commanders this week, obviously. And then is it the Cardinals?
No, the Rams. So
Oh,
it's
they do have the
actually
Rams to close
not.
it out.
That's not. They wish it was the Cardinals.
Yeah. So they still should beat the Rams next week, but without Trent Williams, that game becomes a lot harder. I don't think it really plays a big effect in this game, just because I think the 49ers are so talented at the skill position players that it's not really going to make a big difference. Also, this Commanders defense is not very good, especially after the trade of Chase Young and Montez Sweat. Both going actually to the 49ers and then also the Bears. And so for me, I think Chase Young and Nick Bosa have a pretty big effect on this game because that offensive line is also not very good. But with that being said, I do think if this is a little bit more of a significant injury for Trent Williams, that really hinders their ability to perform in the playoffs. If they're able to win the next 2 weeks, they will guarantee themselves a bye. And like there are some other situations where they might be able to take a rest week next week as well and still get the bye. But winning these next 2 weeks should be their main priority. But with Trent Williams out, they really want to make sure he's healthy again for the playoffs, because I think that's going to be where they're really going to need him, because they could have a Seattle or a Los Angeles Rams and maybe a Dallas Cowboys come to town. And that's where I really think they're going to need that offensive line to be fully healthy. So I think it's significant, but in this matchup, not really. I think they're already just too talented for the Commanders. Not to give away my pick a few minutes into this video, but
even if you're not a betting man, it's like just the smart pick is going to be the 49ers. Like I don't see a reason why you would pick the Commanders in this game. And I want to get the Commanders in a second, especially too when it comes to offseason. That's what I think is most interesting about the Commanders when kind of reviewing their games at this point in the season. But with the Niners, I agree with you as well. Like they need to. Oh, hello there. They need to make sure Trent Williams is healthy, because he's kind of. You can make an argument that he's the rock of this offense. As Trent Williams comes and goes, and so does this offense, just because they need that protection. But I also think, too, in this game, they're definitely going to be looking for a bounce-back game. There's no reason why Debo Samuel, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk won't be open every single play just with the weaknesses of this Washington secondary. And that offense had moments in that game against the Ravens, like that Christian McCaffrey touchdown drive was an effective one. They moved the ball even then on the first touchdown drive, on the first drive, but unfortunately they threw a pick in the red zone, which cost them a lot. And they just couldn't get the momentum back. But complete props to the Ravens as well, and I think how they played and how Lamar Jackson played. I will say I think MVP status is out of the reach for Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey, but also too I don't think they care too much about that. I think that they would much rather have a Lombardi Trophy or Super Bowl MVP to their name. So I would say love to see those two teams play in the Super Bowl because I feel the Ravens could maybe play a little bit better, which is scary to think about, and the Niners definitely could play better. So both those teams are playing at their best at the championship game. I mean, we'd just be so fans.
Especially too now that the Niners have a chance or have had a chance to look at the Ravens on film. I think they could definitely scheme up a few things that could fluster this Ravens defense, especially when fully healthy. So
we'll have to see. It'll definitely be. That seems like the matchup. Like last year, the matchup was Chiefs-Eagles, and I'll say like as of right now, just looking at it, the matchup that I think I'd really want to. There's a lot of matchups I'd want to see. A lot of teams I want to see in the Super Bowl. But if we're looking at like the best of the best, like those two teams, I think now, especially with the Ravens' performance, the Niners, I think we'd all consider it as number one. And now having the Ravens and their performance that they had, love to see a rematch. I think that would be a lot of fun. My one thing with the Commanders here, and if you've been following the Commanders or just following the season, things that we mentioned already: horrible offensive line, horrible secondary, rebuilding the defensive front, still solid up in the front seven defensively, I'd say, just because you have Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen as well. But going through the rebuilding phase, I honestly love their skill position players. But now I will say with Sam Howell being benched and with his performance against the Jets, and then you have Jacoby Brissett actually playing decently well. Don't know who the quarterback is going to be for this game specifically, but we also now don't know who the quarterback is going to be for them in 2024.
Yeah.
When before, I would say a month ago, it wasn't even doubt in my mind with the stats.
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that's fair. Really? So I'm very curious. One, is there going to be a new regime? I think that answer to me is a yes. And then two, if it's a new regime, I respect the argument that I've seen people make online. Do you really want to come in and then stake your claim your first season as a new GM or a new head coach and be like, yes, I want to go with a 5th-round quarterback? You know?
Oh, yeah, no, especially if you have the 2nd overall pick, which I believe they do right now. And
the Cardinals do.
Williams is going to be on the board.
The Commanders are going to be they're the 3rd overall pick right now. It goes Panthers/Bears because Bears have the Panthers pick, then Cardinals, then Commanders, and then Patriots.
Oh, okay. I thought they jumped the Cardinals to get to.
They jumped the Patriots.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
and I mean, actually, yours and the Commanders, the Patriots and the Commanders record are the same, but I think strength of schedule or something like that.
Yeah, their strength of schedule has been easier, but they beat us head to head, which I still am going to complain about. Anyways, I just think the Commanders they're going to be definitely in a rebuild mode, which is crazy to think about because they were at like 4-6 a few weeks after the trade deadline. They came in, they beat the Patriots pretty good, and then won their game after that. And won 2 straight right after the trade deadline. So
let me pull up. You're right, because there were talks, and you saw Sam Howell play, but yeah, they stomped. Stomp's not the right word.
No, they handily beat the Patriots.
Yeah, they had 432 total offensive yards, but then they lost every single game. Was close from the Seahawks. Yes, they were 4-5. Close from the Seahawks. Tough one to the Giants. Blown out against the Cowboys, against Miami, and then fought hard against the Rams, and then almost came back and beat the Jets. So, but yeah, we're not really too many just great performances or breaks go their way. Thing is, outside of the Giants game, which they lost, they gave up 292 yards. They've given up over 381 yards or more since your Patriots game outside of that Giants loss. And every other game is significantly over 400.
Yeah.
So they've given up a bunch of yards, a bunch of passing yards. So a lot to work on for the Commanders in the offseason. But I will say when it comes to predictions, like, subscribe, help us out and all that stuff. Get to our goal. We're both picking the Niners. I think I could confidently make that pick for you if it wasn't clear already.
Yeah. No, I'm going with the Niners. They're the better team here.
Yeah.
So yeah, where we're going with the Niners, let's go ahead and wrap up this video here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Help Tyler and I reach our goal, getting to 2,333 subscribers. We're trying to do that by the end of the year. So again, help us reach that. We'd be very appreciative. While you're down there, go ahead and leave a comment on how much you think the 49ers are going to win by in this matchup. And other than that, we will see you guys next time.